The beam is fired on our heroes, but Talaris sends a huge slash of her own magic to meet it. The blast's energy begins to break and fragment off, hitting the area in sporadic fashion. This is one of the properties of true ice. Anything that it touches freezes. Cyrus yells for the Saintess to get down as fragments of the beam fall, decimating the landscape. Jin equips his helmet, but he's too fatigued to put up any real resistance. Cyrus tells him to rest, his body can't take any more of this, but the situation is looking dire. The ship has equal power to the master of the ice tower. The Zitfels are not fucking around. The leader of them is shocked that Talaris can match the power of the Kozek cannon. He yells out for Talaris to comply, or they will continue firing until everyone is dead. The Ice Maiden just laughs. That's pretty funny. You guys couldn't kill me even if you tried. I am the Ice Tower Master. Even if you threaten me, you know you can't back it up. So go ahead and turn your little boat around. The leader of the Zitfel Knights tells Talaris that killing her will prove difficult, but killing those around her will not, and you will bear the humiliation of failing a client. Talaris asks Jin and Cyrus if that girl is needed at the ceremony. Jin says that she is, and they can secure victory if they can escort the priestess to the ritual. Talaris grits her teeth and tells the two to get that girl to the altar now. She's gonna block the Zitfel attacks. The knights load the cannon again, ready to erase Colin from the earth. Jin understands his assignment and wraps his hand around his blade, telling Cyrus to protect the priestess. He will clear the way. Cyrus starts to protest that Jin will die if he pushes himself too much. But Jin knows the consequences if they don't win here. He will sacrifice himself to save everyone. Lausa is shocked by hearing these words and recalls a time when she was younger and was sent out while her people were being massacred, and she was the only survivor. Her task was to find the savior of the clan, and many of her people died protecting her, and all she could ever do was run away and leave them behind. And it all looked hopeless, especially when she was on Tikan, slowly losing her power, praying to a god that never answered. But this was all her decision. She snaps back to reality and Jin tells her that she has to make it to the altar, even if they die protecting her. Lausa gathers herself and is ready to go. The cannon is fired again and Talaris intercepts with her magic. Jin has no time to think. He needs to swing his sword and block the incoming fragments. Every swing of his sword will be the same as his first. Jin continues to block the fragments, yelling for the girls to run. Murakhan comes out of nowhere to help Jin in his defense. The cannon is repeatedly fired and Murakhan yells for the girls not to stop. The three continue to swat away fragments and a stray one is headed right for Cyrus. Jin leaps over to defend her and Murakhan is excited seeing Jin do so well. But due to his horror, Jin gets impaled through the stomach by a loose fragment. His mask is undone and Cyrus and Lausa both scream for him. But they have no time to help and they need to keep going. Cyrus yells at Jin, calling him an idiot. Why does he have to try so hard? Why? But interrupting her, another fragment is about to hit the two girls. Cyrus pushes Lausa out of the way and her arm is cut off. She manages to hold herself back up, telling Lausa to keep going. The priestess bites her lip and she will no longer run away. Nothing will change by just praying. Lausa made a decision. Cyrus looks up at the barrage and it seems it might be over for her as well. We dive into a deep darkness. Wake up, Jin, wake up. Jin's ethereal body wakes up in a hellish landscape. He sees Talaris holding her dead daughter surrounded by Zitfel knights. Jin can't believe his eyes. He turns around to see Murakhan dead in the hands of the red dragon, Khadun. Jin wonders if this is the end. They still failed. A voice is heard, asking Jin if he regrets his actions. Maybe things should have ended with Muron's death. Or maybe the right move was to evacuate all the natives. Or maybe you should have never helped from the start. Are these the regrets you are feeling, Jin? Jin tightens his grip, and he doesn't regret anything. The only thing he's angry about is that he is still too weak, and even after dying once, some things never change. And because of this weakness, not only he died, but everyone around him suffered the same fate. The voice chuckles and tells Jin not to forget this feeling. And with a snap, Jin is brought next to the deity, Klam, the one who was sealed inside of the mirror artifact, with Solderet's help. I was waiting for you, Jin, the boy chosen by Solderet. Jin is confused. What the hell are you talking about? Klam just continues. Contractor of 1,000 years. There is little time. You experience today the path you need to forge from now on, and the pain of those you couldn't protect. Jin clenches his fist. What does this mean? What do you mean when everything's done? Klam answers vaguely and suggests that they should talk outside and sends Jin back into his body. Jin wakes up and is surprised. How many times is he gonna get woken up like this? Wait a minute, woken up? He sees Cyrus with a huge smile as she tells Jin that he must not value his life. Murakhan comes from behind with a huge slap, cursing Jin. Why were you just laying there? I thought you were dead. Jin thought that Murakhan was being attacked by Khadun, but the dragon has no idea what Jin is on about. Talaris approaches. So you're finally awake, huh? She had no idea what she was believing when she saw Jin, but who would have thought he would make a god descend from the sky? Jin has no idea what everyone's talking about, and Murakan tells him that the priestess made the god descend into her body, and it wasn't an ordinary god. Jin looks up to see the Kozak in flames, with the knights on board incapacitated. As soon as the god appeared, the Zipfels were dealt with, and they couldn't even do a thing. And on top of that, there is an insane amount of magic power within this barrier. Jin doesn't remember anything and approaches Lausa, calling her a god. Jin knows that Lausa's body is being used as a vessel, and this must be the host for Clam. Thanks to this child, she was finally able to descend. Jinrune Candle. Think of the pain you felt of death today as a small lesson to what you want to achieve. Jin wonders if everything he saw was an illusion, and Murakan just wants this god to get to the point. Why did you plan this? And what do you want from Jin? Kalam summons a blue object from her hand. I was waiting for the owner of this. Jin's eyes light up. The mirror artifact. I am the creature and source of magic power. However, I could not handle that power. It almost destroyed half the world. Soldaret helped seal me and my power within this mirror. Kalaris and Murakan are shocked, but Klam tells them to watch on, as the mirror starts to be enveloped in shadow energy. This is Soldaret's seal, a seal made out of shadow energy. Murakan notices that it's become very weak. Klam tells him that inside the mirror is her very essence and infinite magic power, and if it releases into the world, it will erase everything. In order to stop that, Klam asks Soldaret to seal her, and the children of Colin protected this mirror for generations. Murakan begins to yell, asking if this god knows how much these people suffered protecting her ass. Klam says that at first it was a different time. No one could rival Colin. But soon after she was sealed, her blessings could no longer reach them. But now she can bring an end to it all, with the 1,000-year contractor that Soldaret mentioned. Talaris' eyes begin to light up. Her daughter hit the jackpot. Klam offers the mirror to Jin, telling him to take it. The power to preserve the world. Jin holds the mirror and magic starts to overflow through his body. But with every ounce of magic power that is released, the seal gets weaker. How did the Zipfels use this item so recklessly before? Jin asks if his job is to protect the seal and not the Colin people. Clam says that protecting the seal isn't right. The seal is actually a gift from Soldaret. This is Soldaret's masterpiece that was created in the prime of her power. It's not just any spiritual energy. The entire seal is part of Soldaret. Jin thinks back to Lausa's promise. She would use her energy to call Soldaret. Clam smiles and it seems the kid made some pretty tall promises. Soldaret won't even answer if the shadow dragon summoned him. Clam offers her apologies and Jin accepts. It's not like he did everything just for that. Clam looks over at Jin, thinking about his second life, and how he even got that second chance. But interrupting the god is her hand starting to glow. She's running out of time. The goddess has said what she needed to say, and now it's time to leave. The curse plaguing the Collins is over. Dear child of Soldaret, our savior, I thank you. Clam returns inside the mirror and wishes Jin good luck on his journey. Talaris starts to laugh. It's not every day a god expresses gratitude to a human. She asks Jin if he's ready to fight the Zipfels, because they're not going to stay idle for too long. Reinforcements might arrive. Jin tells the Collins that he will guide them out of here. We shift to inside the mirror and it seems Lausa's soul is now trapped as well. This was the only way they could have saved everyone, with Clam borrowing her body. The god apologizes, but this is a sacrifice that saved all of her people. Lausa carried a heavy burden. The girl bows and thanks her god for saving her people, and tells her not to apologize. No one is to blame. Clam looks towards the sky and is thankful that she had such a devout follower. She prays that Jinrune Candle can create a world where this pain does not exist. Lausa thinks on her people. They were regarded as primitive and enslaved by the Zipfels, and if they ended up with the mirror, countless lives and sacrifices would have been for nothing. It's a miracle that it landed in the hands of Jin. Jin smiles and thanks all the people of Colin. He would have died without their help, but thinks to himself that he prevented a future in which the Zipfels could mass produce magicians and rule the world. Jin says that he will prepare a place for the Colin people in Hufester. This location makes Dino shocked. Jin, you don't have to do this for us. But our boy hands out a recommendation by his sister Luna. Dino and Tika are thankful. Jin tells them that if they're really happy, try to bitch about the Zipfels a little bit more in those articles. Dino says it's hard to write against them, but Jin tells the man not to worry. Dino isn't the only one who hates the Zipfels, but he will be the trigger. Dino's words will spark hate in everyone around the world who were affected by the Zipfels, just like this. You're gonna be a good journalist, Dino. Have confidence. Dino is motivated by these words. We shift to Jin entering a room and properly greets Miss Talaris and thanks her for her help. The leader of the Ice Tower says it wasn't that big of a deal, and now she's concerned that the two clans might go to war. Keliark will be more cautious of the Ice Tower now. but even the master of the Zipfels would have never thought a god would descend. So maybe he will assume Talaris has become stronger. She tells Jin not to thank her. This was out of her goodwill. Jin asks the madam if she wants any compensation, and this makes her smile. She didn't expect things to turn out like this. Maybe she should fleece the boy while she can. But she did end up getting some good information about Jin, so she'll probably let this slide. Talaris looks towards Cyrus and giggles, causing her to blush. Jin bows and thanks the Ice Master, and before he leaves, Cyrus tells him to stay safe, and the next time they meet, they're gonna see who's stronger, fair and square. Talaris just laughs. It seems her daughter isn't honest about her true feelings. She's still a teenager after all. We shift to Siren being badass as usual, like he can't be up in an office or anything, he's gotta be in a fucking dark cave cooking monster meat. A woman approaches, telling him that they will get right to the point, and it's actually Talaris, asking Siren if he wants the youngest to marry her daughter. Luna gets a report on what her crackhead brother has been up to, but she isn't too surprised, even though it did involve the Kozek White Knights and the Master of the Ice Tower. She looks over at the priestess and Dino regarding the letter that Jin gave. Luna closes up the paper and asks Tika what her specialty is. They can't just lounge around for free because they're refugees. They're gonna have to be a part of the community and mesh with the citizens. Tika lights up in excitement, and Luna shifts her focus to Dino, and always come to her for assistance. She'll do whatever she can, but in return, you must obtain the results that Jin has asked of you. Dino tells Luna not to worry. He will live up to Jin's aspirations. 1 month passes, and the news about Colin broke out, and an unknown group of adventurers punished the Zipfel family, who massacred the Colinoans. The powers opposing the Zipfel, including the rune candles, helped spread these rumors. The Zipfels tried to say Muron acted on his own, but parts of the Kozek were found at the battle, which blew up their plan. The Hufester allied powers were enraged, while the Lutero Magic Federation was trying to cover up the incident. The Emperor of Behemoth ended up stepping in, vouching for the Zipfel family, and this calmed down the public. But after all of this back and forth, the Rune Candle family gained popularity, while the Zipfels were forced to hide in the shadows of Behemoth. With Muron's death, the Zipfels faced a heavy blow to their military might, and on top of this, they're not able to mass-produce magicians like in Jin's first life. Dino is seen writing an article. His view of the rune candles changed after meeting Jin. They aren't sword-hungry maniacs like everyone says. Interrupting his thoughts is Tika with a wave of letters. These are donations from people who sympathize with Dino's words. And now the whole world has their eyes open to the Zipfel's atrocities. They need to keep up this work until the unknown adventurer can be revealed as Jin. We shift to Khan trying to meet Siren, hoping that Kashmir's letters have gotten better. But he sees a huge ice pillar he summoned. He runs up to see Talaris, sending another huge spell, and then quickly after apologizes to Siren. But Siren tells her to cut the bullshit. Are you gonna come here and interrupt my meditation for a marriage request? Talaris won't cling to Siren like she did in the past. She spots Khan in her peripheral vision and sends a wave at him. But as he blocks it, she recognizes him. Ah, Khan, it's been a while. Siren tells Khan to ignore this crazy bitch and asks for the letter. Siren reads the short and to the point letter from Kashmir, listing the achievements of Jin. It seems he cut off Muron's head. Khan informs Siren that the unknown adventurer who freed the Collins and fought the Kozek was in the same area of Jin. But Siren doesn't think Jin is strong enough to face the Kozek. Oh, was that you, Talaris? The girl smiles at Siren. Don't look at me like that. Nothing in the letter mentioned Talaris, and Siren curses Kashmir in his mind. How dare that bastard withhold this information? It seems like he needs a warning. Talaris tells Siren to think about it differently. Praise the man instead. It's evident that he has sworn loyalty, not to you, but to Jin. Siren understands this point and calms down, thanking Talaris. I owe you one. But Jin is gonna pay that debt. Talaris laughs and says that she does what she needed to do. Now she will head back. Think about what I said, Siren. Cyrus and Jin will be good together. We shift to Jin waking up, catching a chill, and Gilly and Kashmir are alerted. Kashmir was getting a similar feeling, and I bet he probably does because Siren wants to kill him like 2 times a chapter. The mirror artifact has increased Jin's power, so maybe it has something to do with that? Jin thinks that he achieved a lot of things recently. 6-star swordsmanship, 5-star spiritual energy, and now he has 7-star magic. Becoming 7-star by just having this mirror is amazing, but Jin can't go any further. It's gonna weaken the seal. A butler comes in calling to Kashmir, telling him that someone is here to see him. Kashmir smiles and tells him to send him up. The man tried, but the guy waiting downstairs says he knows the location of the 7 Colors bases. This news shifts Kashmir's demeanor. Is he a retired contractor of the company? The butler checked, but this is the first time this man has arrived in Tikon, and he's poking around looking for secrets. Jin looks out the window. This man knows the secrets of the 7 Colors? Who could it be? But he looks outside to see someone and is shocked to see that it's Jet. Little recap of our boy Jet. This guy backstabbed Jin in his first life, and every time Jin thinks about him, he wants to beat him silly. But this time around, Jin let him live because he does have a son, but it seems that he's in trouble. Jet is kneeling on the floor talking to Kashmir, and Kashmir asks the man how he knows the location of their camp. Jet introduces himself and said he worked in Akin with Tessing. Jet says that he is actually the whistleblower, and Kashmir connects the dots on what Jin did. Kashmir will help based on how Jet answers his question. Jet doesn't want to answer anything until his safety can be guaranteed. Kashmir starts to get angry, asking the man if he thinks he has an option. You're gonna die unless you open your mouth. Jet grovels on the floor and yells that he has more information on Spider-Hand Zalu. This catches Jin's attention. Kashmir calls Jin Sir and says this man might be full of shit. Jet notices the word Sir and thinks that Kashmir should be the ruler of Tikon, but to his surprise, he turns around to see Jin. It's been a while, huh, Jet? What is this gift I bought you doing here? Kashmir notes that the name Marius is very common and can be found everywhere in the continent, but in the Delki Kingdom, only a special organization was allowed to use it. The orphanage, Moon's Sacrifice, from the front, was a normal orphanage, but in reality, it was a facility where Delki trained the royal faction guards and assassins. This was the elite of the elite. In the kingdom, the orphans were raised together and formed bonds, but in the end of their training, they were forced to kill each other, and those who survived became ruthless. The orphanage ended up being closed because of the prince's faction that won the war, but 10 children from that place were released. Except for the one that died, Alu, 9 remain, and Jin has his objective, and will head out for Delki. This is the next step to find out who cursed him from birth. Jin will definitely find out. We shift to the Delki Kingdom teleportation gate, and Jet looks over the list of names and says the one closest to the gate is Gabber Marius, and apparently he's doing some gangster work in a place called Neltara. Jet asks if they should find some lodging first, but Jin tells them they don't need it. They're going to the western region where 3 of the survivors live, and after that, they'll find somewhere to sleep. We shift to Jet knocking on a door, but no one is answering. Jin overlooks some people staring down an alleyway, and he looks to see a horrific crime that we witnessed a chapter ago. Poison and wind magic were used on this poor thug, and someone committed a magic crime in Hufester? These guys must have big balls. Jin overhears the name Garber, and apparently he was the one who died, and the residents always recognize him even without his head, because he's always drunk at dawn and causing issues. They heard some screaming and came to see this. The other guy was someone indebted to Garber, and Jin thinks on the situation. This group killed their target and the witness using some strange magic. If they were gonna kill the man with poison, they should have waited for him to be alone. They must have been in a hurry. Wait, a hurry? Jin remembers something and yells for Jet, asking who's next, and it's Weathery Marius, about 2 hours from here. Jin says that they're gonna run to shorten the time, but to Jin's surprise, the next person they try to find is also dead inside of the house, and he was poisoned yet again. It wasn't long since he died, and his skin hasn't changed colors. This must be the advanced assassin type poison. Jet knows that this is the same person. Someone is killing the survivors in real time. Jin tries to rush to the next survivors, but they're all dead, and he couldn't manage to save one, and the intensity of the magic used is getting stronger and stronger. Only 2 survivors remain. Jet wonders if they need to report this, but Jin tells him not to, and starts to get mad that someone is disturbing his plan, and with that, it's also in Rookhandle territory. Jin swears to capture them. We shift to the assassins, and it seems they're on the last survivor. The rest of them were pretty easy. The girl taps the ninja on the shoulder, asking why these survivors are so weak. They went through the same training, right? The man explains that only the 2 of them were chosen, and they are worlds apart from the other survivors. The girl's name is Varys, and they stare at the residence of the last surviving member. The assassin cuts the door open, blasting into the room, but no one is there. We shift to Jin escorting the last survivor away from his home, and they're going over the situation as they run. Someone is killing you and your brothers, and they're being killed based on their distance from the transfer gate. And for that to happen, and due to that, Jin has been behind in saving all the victims. But thankfully, he came in time to save this man along with his daughter. The man says that running might not even save them, and the assassins might already be on their trail. Jin asks what he means. The man explains that even though all of them are from the same orphanage, and even though all of the survivors are out of practice, they still survive the rigorous training, and they're not that weak. So only 2 people could go around killing them, Varys and Kujan. They are on a whole different level than the rest of the survivors. Jin thought there were only 10 survivors, but turns out there were actually 12, and the remaining 2 were trained directly by the master. Interrupting the conversation is a huge blast right behind the man. Jin turns and yells for Den Marius, but Varys walks up. Oh, I thought I hit that. Oh well. I knew you would come this way. When did you get so sharp? huh Den? The girl raises her hand, ready to end the remaining survivor, while Kujan watches. A bolt of lightning appears near his face, and Jin is pissed off. Barris and Kujan, wasn't? I was curious on who was ruining my plans. If you're cocky enough to run around in Rune Candle territory, then I'll have to punish you myself. Jin notices that the two assassins didn't even try to hide their appearance, and the woman must at least be an 8-star mage. And at that, she isn't even a Zipfel. Barris starts to get mad at Den. What, you even hired a bodyguard? What the hell? Kujan, what's going on? Kujan knows that Den isn't smart enough to do this on his own, and Jin must know something. The two start to smile at their new target, and Barris starts to channel her magic, but Kujan tells her to be careful. Jin doesn't have an ordinary key. Barris doesn't listen and tells Kujan that this is why he's lame. He's way too careful. She slings multiple air spells at Jin, but he easily blocks it. Jin notices the 4-star spells that are being used, wondering if the girl is about to run out of mana. The problem here isn't her, but Kujan. He has a sword and a very distinct poison. Jin calls out to Jet, telling him to take Den and run. Jet tries to stick around, but he knows he's gonna die if he stays too long. Jin engages Kujan and immediately feels his pressure. He must at least be an 8-star swordsman. Kujan knows Jin is a magic swordsman and tells him not to waste his energy on Den. Just give him to us. Jin smiles and tells the man to fuck off and yells for Jet to leave now. Jet gets out of his daze and carries Den off into the forest. Barris laughs, asking if Jin thinks he can get away with this, yelling at Kujan to keep him busy. Jin pulls out his mirror artifact along with his sword, telling the two of them to calm down. You should accept your gifts before leaving, and the two are lit up with a huge flashbang spell. The two lose their vision as Kujan is cut vertically. The man doesn't relent, however, and slashes back at Jin. Barris starts freaking out. Where are you? I can't see. She turns to see Kujan bleeding profusely, and this enrages her. She sparks her power into the sky, yelling, "How dare you?" Yelling at Jin, saying that she's gonna kill him. Kujan looks towards Barris and tells her to calm down. He's gonna recover. Relax. We pushed ourselves too much today. If you're not careful, you'll get overloaded. Jin expected this, and Kujan pops open a green liquid and drinks it whole. Jin is shocked. Is he drinking poison? Jin has heard of this before, and some people built up their resistance to poison by using it inversely. It eats away at their lifespan, but in return, they receive incredible power. Kujan tells Jin that he's stronger than he thought. A swordsman that can use magic, huh? What a pain in my ass. And I've never even seen this type of magic before. There's a lot I want to ask you, but my mission comes first. I'm gonna give up on catching you alive. Kujan dashes from his spot at incredible speed, and Jin is immediately taken aback. Kujan appears from right above him, but Jin manages to react in time. He can't rest yet as a wind spell is fired right at him. A barrage ensues as Jin tries to dodge. Kujan comes in flying again, but Jin parries. Kujan is starting to get worried. Jin is only about 6 stars, but his movements are clearly above that. Jin just smiles, and it seems he has to take care of the mage first. Blue flames envelop Jin as Tess is summoned, completely shocking Beerus to her arrival. She's immediately caught up in the flames, and Kujan looks back in horror. Jin asks Kujan if he has the luxury to turn away. Darkness fills the area around the two as Kujan looks back at Jin. Why is it so dark? What's going on? But before he can wrap his head around the situation, he is cut down in 2 slashes. Kujan is bleeding out, and he realizes Jin's power is spiritual energy, and he is blessed by a blue phoenix. What a ridiculous opponent. But I wonder if my poison will work on you. Jin's smile quickly fades as the poison is rushing through his veins, and he collapses onto the floor. Barris is burnt to a crisp, and Kujan is bleeding out. Jin is also now slowly dying, but he needs to get a grip. But before he can finish off Kujan, some Delki knights appear, telling the group to drop their weapons. Kujan picks up Barris and tells Jin that they're gonna fight again. Don't get too comfortable, and then dashes out of the scene. The knight captain looks at Jin, wondering whose side he's even on, but after he sees his condition, he yells for a healer. Jin starts to lose consciousness, and he wakes up in a red bed, next to the knight captain. The man says that this is his villa, and apologizes to Jin. They needed to confirm his identity. Jin has been out for 3 hours, and honestly, it's a miracle that he didn't die from the 8-star poison. However, if you were a rune candle, then it would be pretty different. Based on the reaction, the knight captain can tell that this is actually Jin Rune Candle. He asks what happened to the other 2, and Jin relays what happened in the fight. The captain sweats. He was sure Jin was 5 stars, and now he's at least 6. How is he so strong? Jin thanks the captain for his help, but asks if the man reported to the main house. The captain didn't, but as soon as Jin was brought over here, some really powerful people started going crazy in Delgi. Jin knows that it must be his boys and apologizes for the trouble. The captain is introduced as Prince Lakia, and he asks Jin for a favor. When he becomes flag bearer, please dispatch more guardian knights to Delki, and please increase the amount of gold we share. Jin gets serious. Put a price on my life, huh? Jin says that he'll double the Guardian Knights and give back all of the gold shares. The prince is shocked. Can you even do that? Jin tells him not to worry because soon there'll be nothing that he can't do. The prince wonders if this boy is serious. This must mean he's aiming to be the next patriarch. We shift to the next day and Gilly and Murakami come barging in, worried about Jin. Did you seriously fight an 8-star mage and a knight at the same time? Do you want to die? What the fuck, Jin? Jin tells everyone to calm down. He's not going to do it again. And even Quicantel is here. The kingdom is in some good hands. Jet comes flying in, thanking the heavens that Jin is okay. Jet has a busted up face, and it was from Murakami thinking that he set Jin up. Kashmir comes and tells Jin what they found from Den Marius. But no matter what they try to get out of this guy, he said he wouldn't talk until he met Jin. We shift to this meeting and Jin tells the man to get to the point. He risked his own life to save him and his daughter. What do you know? The man starts to tear up and yells the name Taimoon Marius, Luna's nanny. And that person is our mother. We see another shot of the two failed assassins bowing to Taimoon. She can't believe they failed their mission and lost to a magical swordsman. You both really must want to die. Thank you for joining us on Manhwa Assassin today. If you enjoyed our Manhwa manga recaps and want to stay updated on all the latest releases, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support means the world to us.